Welcome to today's edition of Drive Time with David and Dave. Often irreverent, sometimes informative, and occasionally brilliant, Morningstar's finest tackle the comedic questions of the day, which no one else even dares to ask. David Vallier and Dave Yarnes come to you each week from their studio in Fort Mill, South Carolina, near Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, if you've missed a portion of today's broadcast or would like to recommend it to a friend, you can hear this program at any time on the Drive Time with David and Dave host page at talknetworkradio.com. Well, now here are David and Dave with today's show.
Hi, this is Dave, and as always, I'm here with my great friend.
Yeah, David Vallier, that's me.
Come on, and this is the one. I think this is a revolutionary thought. We're coming into something. I got to get it off my chest, Dave. What is up with people making me feel guilty on a Christian level about all my dietary choices?
Oh, yeah.
Have you noticed that one?
Yeah, it's the new holiness movement.
It is. Like because I don't shop at Sprouts and eat lettuce water all day long, I'm some kind of like horrible sinner.
Yeah, you know, Sam's one of those celery juice people.
No, I've had Sam in the house, and he's like, I'm like, Sam, look I slaughtered this animal for you. He's like, no, I'll just have
he's like, I'll just take my celery juice, thanks.
But hey, I'm cool, and let's be honest. Probably there's some health benefit to eating different things. First of all, one thing, they can't get their story straight. Is butter good for me? Is it bad for me?
Right.
Butter is like this uncle that kind of was in and out of reform school a little bit. Like you welcome him in, but then he's out, margarine is back. But because I actually somebody made this bullet coffee, and it's basically coffee with a glob of butter in it.
Yep, I've heard about this.
And it's really great stuff, but something in my mind of 10 years ago was like, oh my God, it's artery clogging.
Right, cholesterol, yeah. You know what else is a new one? Eggs. You know, they say, eggs are good.
No, don't ruin this. Are they in or out?
Well, they're saying they're out now.
No.
They're saying that it is bad for you. And I'm a huge fan of eggs, so I've actually kind of jumped on the anti-egg train and gone egg whites. But I found a love for egg whites, but I love a good yolk.
No, yeah, the yolk is the yolk is the Ark of the Covenant of the egg.
Exactly. But I'm like, you've ruined my favorite breakfast food because, it's cholesterol. Cholesterol, schmesterol. I want my runny eggs.
Yeah, right, because you got the toast, you got the whole thing.
Yeah.
So first of all, they can't get their mind straight about it. But I honestly admire people that have, disciplined choices.
Totally.
And they kind of educate me about stuff like edamame.
Right.
I thought edamame was good, but apparently the soybean for men is
it's like estrogen times a zillion.
Who knew?
Right.
And iceberg lettuce.
Yeah.
That's all we had as a kid.
There's zero nutrition. Yeah, there's zero nutrition in iceberg. Do you realize that? It's just water. I mean, you just literally just bite it into water.
I think there's something that somebody told me is actually not good for you. Listen, write us letters, tell us about stuff. We probably need to be educated on this, David and myself. But my thought is the part where it kind of freaks me out is where all of a sudden it's oh, you're eating meat over there.
Right, yeah.
I'm on par with stealing their car and knocking off a 7-Eleven. Because, do you get that? Are you around those kind of people?
Yeah, totally. Actually, my wife's family, they're very, very health forward, and so which is great. I love healthy stuff and all that.
Agreed.
But it's just really funny because sometimes oh, you're eating that. And I'm like, yes. I mean, I'm from freaking Louisiana. What do you expect? We eat, if it crawls and we can fry it, I have eaten it. So it's come on, but anyway, yeah.
I'm thinking of the Bobby Boucher. So what part of the snake would we be eating?
Right. Any part. If you can eat it, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, I think you guys because Louisiana, man, it's jumbo. I think it's just stuff that miscellaneously you caught and threw in a pot and
dude, I'm telling you, I've eaten anything you could think of.
Yeah,
it's all good.
I think
really
it is.
Cook it right.
Put a little bit of hot sauce on there.
Yeah.
So I think first of all that because honestly it feels a little self-righteous.
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel that way?
Sometimes it is, yeah.
It's you went beyond being concerned for my health and just wanting to be a little bit smoked. But I'll tell you, it happens to me too. You ever I'll fast for a day and I'll be all self-righteous. I'll walk and I'm Look at you sinners over there, overindulging. I mean, it's,
eating your cake. Don't you know I gave up sugar for 24 hours?
Hey, there's another one, right? Like, I get all kinds of diet, paleo diet, keto diet, low carb, no carb, Atkins. Like, you ever get in a group of people and their dietary constrictions are all like trying to interface, and like you can eat nothing.
Yes, seriously. And then they come over to your house for dinner, and you're like, hey, by the way, I made you like, this great filet mignon, and then also I've made some bread. And they're like, oh, I'm on a no carb, no meat diet. And I'm like, well, what the heck? Okay, listen, here's this curated air that I just wafted in. Just like, tell me, it should have a hint of lavender.
What about
in there.
Twinkies?
Yeah.
Are they on or are they off? Nobody gets. So I had one even worse than that. I hate to one up you. I actually had a Hasidic Jewish guy.
Oh, wow.
Come to my house.
Wow.
I had all kinds of issues with how things are prepared. So I literally just, folded and told somebody, hey, I got a Hasidic Jew guy coming, and, he's got some kind of dietary thing, and they fixed it all up for me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good. Yeah, I wouldn't even know what to do with that.
It was, well, I shouldn't, it was kosher kind of stuff. So
sure.
I just think like kosher is like, it's good for you. Like,
that's what I always
kosher.
thought. Yeah, I'm like, hey, it's kosher.
It's actual meat. So that one's been getting me, but I think, just the whole kind of like self-righteous thing behind it, I think it comes down to the whole question of like, am I really like saying this for the betterment of the person? Because I honestly, in my heart, have a deep concern because he's eating 1.5 pounds of bacon dipped in frosting for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Or is it just like, I want to. And I think it comes to a bigger question in Christianity, like, am I that guy? Do I do that times? Sam's nodding over here. Sam, am I that guy?
Sam's like, oh, yeah. He's like 100%.
He just got back into studio. What studio is
Studio 8.
Studio 8.
Yeah.
He just got back in. He was on hiatus, and then he's offending us. Yeah. First of all, he doesn't use. If you notice, we don't have any sound effects like we used to back in the day.
Like I want the like where is that?
The phone ringing every once in a while. Hey, caller coming in, but so I have a couple of thoughts about it. Is there a way that we can make sure that we're not that guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I kind of feel that way. I like to read and study the Bible quite a bit. I mean, that's kind of my job. And then, but I also want to be cool with the guy that he gets up early, battles his way to work, and does the thing, and, listens to you and I as a podcast for his source of, God forbid, somebody's listening to our podcast as their sole source of spiritual food. They're going to be emaciated.
Right. Poor guys.
But you know what I mean? Like, so what is your thought? You've dealt with religious people on all kinds of spectrums.
Yeah, I mean, self-righteous is like one of it irks me the most. I was having a conversation with someone just a few weeks ago, just talking about, they were with a bunch of people. They were kind of talking about people they didn't agree with, but the way they were talking about him was really bugging this guy. And he was like, how do I handle this? We just kind of talked. It was like, man, what did Jesus say to the Pharisees when they would talk like that? He would knock them on their butts pretty much. He would be like, hey, let's think of the lady that they were about to stone. What did he say to them? Those without sin cast the first stone. Did anybody throw a stone? No, but it's just like, so it's the same thing with all these people who are self-righteous and just are like, oh, blah, 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 like come up to my standards, all this kind of stuff. A lot of times I think we got to look back and say, what are they going through? What are they walking through? They probably had a lot of hurt, pain, all kinds of stuff. Like, Lord, give me eyes to see, And so I don't know. It's just.
And I think you're coming into an age. I'm just coming out of this age, but you're coming into an age. There's a really big one when you're raising kids.
Yeah, totally.
Before I had kids, man, I was an expert on parenting.
Right.
I knew everything there was. I would look at people. I'm like, oh. They fed their daughter sugar. Oh,
right.
My God. And then when I have kids, I'm feeding them platefuls of frosting to try to get them to bed at night.
Just be like, please just go to bed. Please be quiet. Literally yesterday, Jacques, my son, I was like, no more sweets. You can't have any more sweets. We're done. It's 8 p.m. He wouldn't go to bed. I was like, go grab a piece of chocolate. Like, I love you so much, but go to bed.
Now, there are people that are going to be listening to this, and they just left us. They're like, hey, I don't mind them being irreverent about some other stuff.
Yeah.
But Dave gave his son chocolate.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, my
I can't
God.
listen to these guys anymore.
God. Yeah.
I used to go to the store, and I would be like, all right, which one of these sugary cereals has the highest sugar content? I want to go right to the source.
Right.
You know, I think it's like frosted Captain Crunch with extra layers of crunch berries in there or something like that. But I think like, before I had kids, I was really judgmental. And then I saw a really interesting phenomenon. Listeners, please like, share, write us, let us know. We love you guys. We want to hear everything. We learn so much. But it seemed to me that I would see really kind of like dysfunctional parents with great kids.
Yep.
And I would see like really great kind of alfalfa sprout growing, homeschooling parents, and their kids would be, like little hellions.
Yeah.
And like everywhere in between. And then you'd have the family like good kid, hellion, good kid.
Right.
They're in the same home. There doesn't seem to be anything. So I don't know. But I for sure, I think as you get older and you raise kids, you become less judgmental, but you're just going into the phase.
Yeah. And it is really interesting because I was never one that thought I was an expert, but I would look at like people with kids and be like, man, they just do not know how to handle their kids, blah, blah, blah. Like there are some brats. And then, I've got a toddler and I'm like, I don't know how to handle this kid. You know what I mean? Like he's not a brat, but I love him. And they have their days. They have their ups and downs. Who are we to judge? It's the same thing with people, going through all kinds of stuff, different walks of life. They have ups and downs. You don't know where they're coming from, what they've gone through, all this kind of stuff.
And I think as you get older, like this is a true story. So when my kids were young, I would send them, I had a hotel that I was building, and they would stay with my mom and dad.
Yeah.
And dad and I, well, let's just say, we had more of what you would call a cold, prickly relationship growing up. You know what
wonderful.
I mean? Yeah, it wasn't that warm fuzzy.
Right,
you know what I mean? Whatever the opposite of warm fuzzy. But I loved him, he loved me, but that was back in the day where like, if you put meat on the table and you didn't kill your kids, you check the box as the number one dad in the community. So that's, that's cool. But I would send my kids over to see my dad. And they'd be like, oh, Grandpa took us for ice cream, and, Grandpa did this.
Yes.
I took a picture out, and I'm like, this guy, this person right here in the picture, this is the guy that took you out for ice cream, because he had completely changed.
Yeah.
Like maybe he just got older and mellowed, or, maybe he just give up. Give up as a parent. You're like, I just do whatever. You know?
I can actually totally testify to that. My mother, with my kid, I literally just a couple of days ago, I was like, who are you and what happened to the mom I had that wouldn't let me get away with nothing? When my kid goes over there, you were literally like just giving him the world. I had to beg you for like a sliver of candy. And that was when I was like 12. I wasn't even a toddler then. Like I was fully aware and very well behaved. And then anyway.
Well, I'll tell you, I know your mom. Your mom is smart, and she's got that Holy Ghost kind of thing. Like she'll be laying in bed probably and wake up and go,
exactly.
He's getting ready to do something wrong. I better call him. And
100%.
So going back on the topic, here was one that I faced a lot. Like, I would have people that would say stuff like, well, we didn't send our kids to public school. Mm-hmm. And for all of you listeners, I want to hear this because homeschool's evolved. Homeschool was weird when I was raising my kids. Very few people that it was just in the beginning. This is, so my oldest now is 24. So, it's maybe 18 years ago or something. It was very rare, but there was this big debate about we need to send our kids to public school because they're going to be light and salt. They're going to save the school system. My little Johnny is going to be... He's going to be like the Elijah crossbred with John the Baptist and a little bit of fire of Joel in there and save the whole school. And there are other people that are like, oh, my God, you're sending your kids to public school.
Right.
Why don't you just carve a pentagram on their head?
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I grew up in that culture big time.
Which way did you go?
I mean, I went private school, but honestly, that's because my mom practically ran that school,
Yeah.
So I went and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to go to public school personally.
Really?
That was just always me. I just like